Hey, everybody! Welcome to this week's show. I'm Tim Gillette, or Mr. T, as the broadcast would think. My co-host is.
Gladys Boutwell or Lady G.
So before we go into tonight's broadcast, we're gonna let you know that I am trying to do the broadcast right now, but watching through my windows very much. We're under tornado warnings in the Dallas-Fort Worth area near my house. So if the show gets cut short really quickly, it's because I've got to go duck and run and hide. Anyway.
That being important, because otherwise there will be no additional show.
There won't be another show next week. But, you know what I mean? I do have a good visible line out my window watching clouds. The only thing I can't see is what's going on behind me. But the way the trees are moving do give me a sign that I have enough time to run downstairs and get into a room that is a little more. Actually, this room behind me would be pretty locked down as well. So, but I don't know, the rooms I have up here in the upstairs, most of my outer rooms have glass to them. This one behind me has only a skylight. So anyway.
Yeah, we got to make sure you're protected because too much glass, that's just craziness. Can't have that.
So, all right. Well, hey, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing our Irish month. All right. With we're doing cocktails, all right, and it's kind of make your own cocktails. So we didn't really give any guidelines on this, and one of the reasons we did it is because I got in from traveling from a seminar late last night. I didn't have time this weekend to go to the liquor store, so I did this. When we planned this week, I planned it with the idea of knowing I was going to have to work with what was on my bar.
Yes.
So that being said, there is one thing that I did not get and I did not have in my refrigerator, and I was like, crap, what am I? Great for one of my recipes. But anyway, I'm going to try to do things with our Irish whiskeys we had left over from last week, our Slane and Tullamore Dew. All right. And I've come up with 2 recipes to kind of go with it. And our foods this week are, we said, Lunchables. So I didn't even take mine out of the pack yet.
I did. I try to make mine look pretty. I got Lunchables and adult Lunchables. So
wait. You probably went and got all the things separately.
No,
I just went and got the box.
I will show you.
Yeah.
I did actually. I threw it down here because I was running late. Yeah. Lunchables and Hillshire.
The Hillshire one, yeah.
Yeah, so this is my adult Lunchables. It's still Lunchables. Yeah. So yes.
I'm going to open my Lunchables so we see what's in this one because I really didn't look. I just kind of grabbed a couple. And I know we ate one on our trip. We took these on our trip too.
Oh, yeah. These are great for traveling. Oh, my goodness. So what's yours? Mine is ham and cheddar with crackers. Oscar Mayer lean ham and Kraft cheddar.
Ham and cheddar. All right. Same thing with cracker. And it looks like they look like Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I didn't get that. I just got the Ritz crackers. That's all I got on mine.
So, and then I got hot dogs. Is there other one, which I know you didn't get, but I doctored my hot dogs the way I would eat them.
Well, yeah, what I was going to do, and I will tell you all a story. So my plan was to go to Costco to get a Costco dog because I could just run in and get it and go out, for $1.79 or whatever it is nowadays. And as I was prepping everything, getting all ready, and I had what I was going to do, I realized that my recipes called for Irish gin. And then I realized as I pulled it out that I had Irish vodka. And I went, I really can't do my recipes with vodka if they call for gin because then it's something completely different. I was so disappointed with myself. I had to run home to switch things up a bit in order to be able to do something different. So no hot dog. And there is a gas station across the way. And I considered going in there to see if they had hot dogs. But I said, you know what? It's okay. Just do without the hot dog this time.
That's it. So, well, what drinks are you going to make?
Well, I will make an Irish mule and an Irish mule because I don't have see yours is going to look prettier because I do not have the copper, but I usually keep ginger beer. This is my favorite. It's Cock and Bull. My favorite next
Mm-hmm.
to O. O is a great ginger beer. And so that's why I said I'm going to do that because I have ginger beer. And then the other one is essentially it's Irish whiskey. It's a pickleback. I'm doing a
I
pickleback.
looked at a pickleback, but I decided not to go with it. Yeah.
And then the third option that I was considering, I said I got to just stop there. It's you have the Guinness beer, and then you put the Irish cream with whiskey, and you drop it into the Guinness.
Yeah,
And
the Irish. It was called the Irish Boilermaker. I looked at
there
that
you
one
go.
too. Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I don't think I could chug beer right now. And the thing is, you can't let it sit because then the cream curls in the acidity of the beer.
Yeah,
So I said,
that's a drop and drink, and I really didn't think that would fit the program, so I didn't do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the reason for that. So I do have a few other little concoctions over here that I might decide to do, but I figure I'm going to start with the Irish Mule because why the heck not? Or I could, you know what? Since you're doing an Irish Mule,
But I had the Irish Mule, was going to do an old fashioned,
okay.
Irish old fashioned, but I had an option there just sitting in the wings in case, and that was going to be just your standard whiskey and ginger ale.
That was another one I looked at, but I didn't have any ginger ale. I ran out.
I actually have some ginger ale. I mean, I got the options to do it, and I got everything up here to I could go with all three. So
there you go. See, and that's why we have different ingredients or staples that you want to keep along your bar, because then when something you're like, oh, I ran out of gin, and I do have gin, but it's the non-alcoholic gin, the Monday gin. And so I considered doing a Monday gin, but we might do one day where we do something non-alcoholic, but today was not that day. So I decided to not to make my drinks, which was the Bennett cocktail and French 75. Those were my two cocktails that I was going to make.
Okay. So I'm actually separating out my cheese and ham in my Lunchables so that I'll be able to put them on.
Yes, that's an important one. So I had already pulled them out, put them on my little board because even if you're having a Lunchable, you know what? It still needs to feel like you can do so many different things with Lunchables, but they are very versatile.
Yeah.
You can and very inexpensive. Oh my goodness. So the price between a Lunchable and a Hillshire, the Hillshire is like $4, Lunchable is $1.50.
Yeah, and I did. We got the Oscar Mayer, but we do have some of the we do have some of the Hillshires that we had down there too. So I think with the one that we got, the Hillshire one we have left are ones that Gwen had for kind of a charcuterie type.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of and I'm not going to fill up the whole thing, even though it's going to look pretty. So pickleback essentially is your Irish whiskey followed by the pickle brine. That's all it is. So you drink one, you drink the other. And when you have a good brine, oh my goodness, I have had some delicious pickle juice, and I love drinking pickle juice. Whenever the pickles are gone, I leave the brine. My mouth is watering thinking about it because I will drink the brine by itself. The pickle brine goes very well also with vodka. So if you mix the vodka with pickle brine, it's absolutely delicious. Or your pickleback, which is your whiskey followed by your pickle brine. So this is not mixed. You drink the one and you drink the other. And pickle juice is very good for cramps. So it is medicinal. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
So I'm going to create my first little Lunchable one. Do you put your cheese and then your meat, or your meat and then your cheese? See, I put the cheese and then the meat on top. That's just my favorite way of doing it. Why? I don't know. I think because the cheese kind of sticks to the cracker. I think that's what it is. I don't know. But okay, so what's going to be your first drink that you're going to be making? Ooh. I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm back. I figured it
There
out.
you are.
All right. The first one I'm going to do is the old fashioned.
Uh-huh.
And, you know what I mean? I figured out a way to take the big ice cube and make it work. Is you just stir it around in the cup.
There you go.
And it makes it a little bit smaller. I'm not as good of a bartender at doing this as I've watched bartenders do it. But then to do the mixture for it is in here.
Okay.
Which it's, you know, the simple syrup. And I left my mixers for my alcohol, so my whiskey's going to be a little heavy on the pour.
You know what? So long as you make sure that if you do that warning comes through, make sure that you grab your whiskey and you take it downstairs with you. Okay? That's important.
So yeah, a little bit here, but put some orange bitters into it.
Great idea.
There we go. And I watched a bartender make it this weekend and at a bar. I mean, it was a whiskey bar I was at, and oops, I splashed a little. He just sit there and he's stirring and talking and stirring and talking, and then he just goes with his little mixer, pours it over, sets this to the side, and reaches over. I don't know, my desk. I always have to rewash my desk every night, but I didn't have a thing to peel the orange, so I just grabbed my knife.
Hey, that's okay, because a lot of times you can get exactly what you want when you're cutting with your knife.
Yeah.
And always make sure that when you are cutting that you're not getting as much of that white pith in there, because that'll change the taste of your drink. And also pinch it a little bit because it will allow those oils to come out. And you can also go around the rim of your glass just so that the oils are there before you set it inside. I mean, there's a few different things you can do. You can also put a match to the orange also to get those oils out.
You know,
so, how delicious is your old fashioned?
a little more sweetener than I thought I should have. But remember the maple one I made at Christmas time?
Uh-huh.
This one's better than the maple one, and this is done with your typical simple syrup.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I used the Tullamore into it, which it just goes to show, as like we did last week. I figured out is like the Irish whiskeys are really, they're almost like a sweeter whiskey.
They are actually, because they're made from barley, and because they're made from barley, they are a little bit sweeter. I was watching a restaurant owner make a drink that was named after his father, and he actually used the Tullamore Dew as the whiskey. He was using Irish whiskey, and he put something else in it, and then they put into these barrels. Oh, it was the red ale, Irish red ale, and the Tullamore Dew that they were being mixed, and then they went into these little barrels that they would let sit for a few days to get them to stew before they poured the additional couple of other ingredients, and then topped them off with nutmeg, and there was something else. I can't remember. It was really cool. I'm like, ooh, I might have to try that at times. But he was talking about the barley, and the barley in the beer for the red ale went very well with the barley in the whiskeys, and that's why they made a really good cocktail.
It is almost like this could use a little more.
I was going to say, throw a little bit more whiskey in there to balance it out. So with mine, it's almost like having this is the nice thing, is that you're having it neat, only in a shot glass. That's what you're doing. And some people will just, shoot it down and shoot it down. I still like to sip it. I'm weird that way. I want to enjoy my drink. So it goes very well. The saltiness.
Yeah, I find that mine goes very well with the Lunchables too.
Mm-hmm.
Even by adding a little more Tullamore Dew, all right, it doesn't give the bite. Like, you know what I mean? You always think, like, when someone says whiskey, you always think that gruff, hard, bite. It doesn't give the bite in the
right.
Inside of the old fashioned. All right. It still gives a little sweet to it. So anyway, let me take a bite of my hot dog and try with that.
Yeah, and I think in part that's why it was a little bit sweeter to you, is that because it is a sweeter whiskey, you need maybe just a little bit less syrup or more whiskey.
Oh.
And I did bring my cherries in case I decided to go with an old fashioned, because I love an old fashioned. But I will say, when I say that I keep my pickle brine, yes, I do. And this is my Clausen one, but I also buy the big tub at Costco of pickles because I do eat them. And that is the best pickle brine because it's very mild. So yes, I do keep my pickle brine. I'm not kidding about that, y'all. And I'm going to be serving myself more because I'm almost done with my pickle brine. But this was just an easy one. And like I said, you can add this to your vodka.
Yeah.
Just to do something simple. Sometimes you just want something simple. And this is 2 ingredients or 2 ingredients.
Yep. Okay. Shoot them down. Come on. Mm-hmm. I read that and read also that was designed to be a shot type drink as opposed to what you and I would normally do with cocktails on our show.
Yeah, these are shooters.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to say
you have a good whiskey, not a harsh one, you can just shoot it or you can sip it,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was yummy.
So, I mean, it goes with either one of these foods, and we picked very simple foods this week to go with it. Because when I think, and I was almost going to do some brats instead, because we had brats for dinner last night. Okay. And I almost thought about that. Like, what I mean? Think about when you go to, like, when you go to St. Patty's Day's events, you're not having a steak.
No.
You're not having shrimp cocktail. No, you're eating probably brats and sausage and it's about the same thing you'd have at a German festival, Yep.
Nom, nom, nom. Yes, it's like I was thinking of sauerkraut. I was thinking of, just.
Yes, I have sauerkraut on my hot dogs.
See, the way that
in her all wisdom has sauerkraut in my refrigerator.
Of course. So the way that I love my hot dogs is that I like them with tomatoes and pickles, the hot dog, ketchup, and I have learned now I do now like mustard. It took me for some odd years to start liking mustard. I'd cook with it, but I wouldn't eat it. But I've learned that I do like mustard now. It's taken me many years to develop my taste buds, and so I will also add so the pickle, the tomatoes, ketchup, a little bit of mustard, just a little bit. Sometimes if I'm in the mood, I'll add a little bit of Best Foods mayo in there and a little bit of onions. And I might add, maybe if I'm in the mood, a little bit of relish, but just a little bit, because for me, it's the tomatoes and the pickles that just make it.
It's just, to me, I remember eating ketchup and mustard on my hot dogs until like I found all these different hot dogs from around the world. The chili dog, the chili cheese dog, the cheese dog, then there's the New York style, Chicago style. Anyway, but so my first drink goes well with either one of our great, gourmet foods tonight.
So one of the drinks that I was going to make, the French 75, could also be made with sparkling water. And so I was like going, oh, yes, this is what I'm going to be doing. And I totally messed up today because I didn't have my alcohol with me, but I had worked on my recipes and what I wanted to do and why. And you know what? Make it simplified everything. Go with what I have at home in my bar, in my refrigerator. So.
All right, I'm opening the last ginger beer we had left on our bar, by the way. Which means we have to go get more.
Oh, darn.
I know, bummer. So.
Okay, so we're both gonna make a.
Actually, I'm starting on my mule. I actually took limes and freshly squeezed lime juice today.
Oh, good job. Well, then should I make an Irish martini then?
Oh, I looked at that one too. All right, but there was one ingredient it said that I didn't have on the bar, so that's why I chose not to do that one.
The dry vermouth?
Huh?
Was it the dry vermouth you didn't have?
I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
When
So
it did come down to the to doing the one thing I didn't have for the mule that I usually put in my mules is fresh a sprig of fresh mint, and we
Right.
didn't have any fresh mint. But still, an Irish mule can be done with the lime juice, ginger beer, and of course Irish Tullamore whiskey.
Yum, 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 yum. So I'll make the
I
Irish.
gotta say, my fresh lime juice really gives a. Because I literally took a lime and squeezed it out.
Did you use the fork in the middle to get all the less of the juice out?
Yeah.
So have you seen before I used to be able to get a lime for 33 cents, 34 cents, 3 for 99 cents, or 3 for $1. They are now 99 cents for one little lime and 99 cents for one orange. I'm like, or not one orange, one lemon. Lemons were at 79 cents, limes were at 33 cents. And over the last 2-3 months, prices have gone up dramatically on my lime and my lemon. Okay, so I will make the Irish and I don't have the pretty vodka or martini glass, but I'm going to use one of my other pretty glasses that can make it a little fancy. So it calls for where's my little guy here? This is my 1 and my 2 ounce. So it's a half an ounce of Irish whiskey. So it is not a full ounce. It is a half an ounce of Irish whiskey. I'm actually going to put it in my. So I don't know if I mentioned my Women Who Whiskey. One of my ladies, she gave me this nice little shaker. So thank you so much. And I'm going to use. So I have my Irish whiskey and I have my Irish vodka. 2 ounces, so half an ounce of the Tullamore and 2 ounces of the Minky vodka. They actually also make a gin. That's what I thought I had. Then a half an ounce of dry vermouth, which I upgraded from the is it Martini Rossi to the Antica Formula, which is Italian. And it is darker. It's like that caramel color. So half an ounce of dry vermouth. And then some ice.
I just came home because the tomato fires were good.
There's a couple of ways of making it. I'm doing it the bad way because normally what you do is that you just pour it around in the glass. Chilled glass, you put the whiskey in here and then you pour it out. We have a special visitor. Yay, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
She's tasting my drinks.
That's she should.
Irish old fashioned. And parent this, and you got to pair it with the foods, all right? Because it's the foods that
Who
goes
needs food? This is fabulous.
Is
our
this
show is
delicious?
not about drinking; it is about food too.
So this
But,
is
but like junk food.
yes, only I don't have my hot dog. So
Okay.
What you do with the whiskey on the glass is, and then you pour it out.
Okay.
Then you then take this and pour it in here. So I kind of did a little off, but that's okay.
What has she done? What's in there?
And this is an Irish martini. So you do the edge of the glass with the whiskey, and then you do your vodka with your dry vermouth with ice, and then you pour it in there.
Where's mine?
I don't have that one. That's her drink, not mine.
Do you guys not talk?
No. This one here was designed to be her drinks and my drinks, and we don't tell each other our drinks until we come on air, which is a great surprise because we don't know each other's prepping, except for the fact that we were both prepping mules.
This is good though.
Yeah, he makes.
I'll try my mule.
You're gonna go, bam.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because
Right.
I squeezed fresh lime to make my
Wow.
lime juice.
Where's the mint?
I didn't have any mint. We're out of mint. So we're out of mint, honey.
Are we really out of mint?
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Did you ask me to buy any at the grocery
No,
store?
I didn't, because I didn't. I thought there was some.
So we're not out. We didn't have it. It's not the same thing.
The grocery store has it. The Gillette household doesn't have it. But you gotta
It
taste
happens sometimes.
Wow.
See, the thing is that I tried to grow mint and I killed it. I don't have a green thumb. I killed mint. Mint is a weed.
It is.
It grows on the side of the road, but if it's in my possession, it will die. Yeah.
All I have to do is look at it.
There you go.
Actually, I had some, not mint, but spearmint
Mm-hmm.
growing up. That's the only thing that lived through whatever bad stuff is in our water. And then,
No.
oh, no, the parsley lived through it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is. I would not eat that parsley.
Were you afraid of it, or?
No, there's something in our water system. I don't know what it is, that we have an automatic watering system here. And there's something like it
There's something
goes
that messes
off, and
up
then
with
when
our-
you wake up the next morning, there are like white burn spots on the leaves of everything.
Oh.
And not on the trees that I wish would die, but on everything else.
Yeah. Oh.
Hmm.
Okay, so my two drinks that I made this week, I thought they were awesome. So I'm gonna
This one is the best.
hold on. I'm gonna cleanse,
I'm gonna redo this one because I didn't do it right.
and I'm gonna do my third option.
Okay, I want to watch you do that because
Watch.
everything about that sounds like it should be awesome. So that's all the whiskey.
That was just the whiskey, and so then I'm gonna clean this out.
You just
So when,
dip the lid. You dip the rim in whiskey.
not the rim. You actually put the whiskey inside of here. You swirl it around, and then it says
That's what I do
discard.
with my dry vermouth in a whiskey, in a martini.
martini, yeah.
Swirl and toss.
Mm-hmm. But because it's so good, who's gonna? I'll drink it later.
What vodka are you using?
It's
This is Minky. It's an Irish vodka.
Wow.
They
Of course,
also
yes,
have Irish.
we are on Irish month, so we
No,
have to have
it's all good.
Irish cocktails was our rule.
Those should still be on the shelves in stores everywhere.
This is one that I'm trying to figure out because it says that Total Wine and More carries it, but when I was looking to see if y'all had it, I couldn't find it. I have the email to Sean, who's the owner of Minky, who lives in Oregon, and say, how do we make sure my people get it? Because they also have a gin. I haven't tasted the gin, but I'm looking forward to tasting the gin. There's that one.
So I know I'm butting in here, but do you ever do gin martinis?
I am starting to like certain gins,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't used to like gin all that much because it's very junipery. But
Yeah, we said we were going to do a gin tasting month. Well, that's one thing we haven't done. We haven't done gin tastings. We've done vodka, gin, and then we're going to do, in May we're going to do tequilas.
right.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of too.
This one here, okay. So I mixed just my ginger ale and my Tullamore, all right, and I may try it with the Slain because I still have some of the Slain.
Mind you, I made
that might be almost just right. Again, the Tullamore is not.
That's a lot lighter.
It's a lot lighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tullamore is not like a heavy bourbon. It's a very light, smooth going down whiskey.
God, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
And this is the dry vermouth that gave it its color. It
Mm-hmm.
was the dry vermouth that I used.
That is. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Was that red or white vermouth?
It was kind of a caramel color vermouth. It was a dry,
A dry
but it
vermouth.
had some color to it, which was kind of unusual for me to see vermouth with color. But it did have it. Plus the whiskey that was in here, that's what gave it its color. So this is an Irish martini. So it normally would be in a martini glass, and of course it would look like really big.
Here at our house.
Well, I keep telling her she needs to move to Texas, but all her customers are in Oregon. Because
Yes,
the chances of me moving to Oregon are a lot slimmer than her moving to Texas.
I've lived in Texas before, and I do like the Dallas area. And the last time I was there, in the area where Craig lives, I stayed at an Airbnb, and I love the community. I went out for a run every day, and it was just like everything I needed was within a mile. And it
the
reminded me.
last time you came here and stayed here, you ended up creating a podcast and spending more money on alcohol.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a true story on that. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, thank you for the visit.
And thank you for doing all the grocery shopping and picking up everything. I said, "Can you get this at Costco?" And he says, "I don't go to Costco. I haven't been to Costco in years."
Well, so we don't have memberships to those because once we got the kids out the door, you know how much stuff that is to eat?
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
Well, I used to use it to get my mom's Ensure and toilet paper. So when one of my girlfriends would come visit, she's, "I'm going to Costco. You want to go?" And so whenever she was in the Portland area, I'd go to Costco every 3 to 4 months, get what I needed to stock up for my mom. And that's the only things I would buy. So I'm like, it wasn't worth paying the membership that had gone up. So I'm like,
I mean,
I'm not paying the membership to get in line to buy gas. Those people are crazy.
See, I'm at the point where our home is not huge, and so I am to the point where I would rather pay the extra not to have the extra stuff. But my sister-in-law is a Costco devotee.
She is.
But my brother eats a lot, more than me, like a lot more than me.
A lot more than me.
Yeah.
So my martini and my adult Lunchable was really good.
So what was in the? Okay, that was like a charcuterie board. Is that yours? Okay.
She got the one that.
His has Girl Scout cookies in it. So.
No, she has this one, but she also has. She also has the Hillshire.
Those are so good. He doesn't like them. He's a Hillshire snob.
I love these. Oh my goodness, they're so good.
They have like the smoked almonds. They're so.
You know what else? Balance Break.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Balance
yeah.
Break are great. I love those.
Those are good. They have like the dried fruits and the cheese cubes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh
yeah. Those are good.
I almost got those, but I said no because this one was closest to a Lunchable, so that's why I said the Lunchable and the adult Lunchable.
Yeah. When he says Lunchable, I always translate up to adults.
Wait a minute. This is what's left of Lunchable.
Yeah, that
plus
is,
my limes. My limes are right.
I don't know how they made that Velveeta so firm, but sure.
Right. And I told him, I said, the difference between a Lunchable is $1.50. A Hillshire one is $3.99. So $1.50 to $4.
You know, when the kids lived here and we had to buy their Lunchables, they were Lunchables. But one of the perks.
Not that you understand that concept, Gladys, all right, of having adult kids live with you.
No, I have.
Sean's not an adult kid. I know you think he is, but he's not. And I know he doesn't live with you.
But boy, is the boy Maverick, 92-pound German Shepherd.
Oh.
Went to get him a dog toy. Got the dog toy.
No, get in your cage.
No, he doesn't go in a cage. He's really good though. And so I went to Sierra Trading, got him a toy, and then bought other stuff. They said, "Did you find everything?" I said, "Well, I found the one thing I was coming in for." They're like, "What's that?" I said, "The dog toy. One of those big snakes that has the squeakies inside." I said, "Everything else is extra. It's the boy gets his toy, and once the boy gets his toy, everything else is just extra." So yeah.
I was wrong. He is a kid.
Yeah. He's like a toddler. Has the toys everywhere and the fuzzies of the inside of the dog toy all over the living room. It's like, oh my goodness, like a toddler.
We used to do that when we had a cat. We would, but fortunately, all of our shopping was at PetSmart, and there's just only so far you can go. There just aren't a lot of toys for us at PetSmart, right. So that was kind of it was a corraler of sorts. It was a fence.
Mm-hmm. So when I had a cat, my little Mr. Man, Mr. Gray, smart boy, he thought he was a dog, but I would buy him toys. Didn't care for the toys. What did he like? A piece of string, the yarn that my neighbor gave me.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that kept him entertained, was that I throw the string and he'd get the string or the light. If I had a pointer.
Oh yeah.
That's what he loved. So I never
loves the pointer. I can make him climb the walls with them.
Yep.
No,
That was the one thing our first cat didn't do that. No, these are frustrating.
our first cat was way too smart for Tim.
Anyway.
You know, I do like the Hillshire better than the Lunchable.
That's because it is better.
It is a better quality product, all right.
I was going to say the quality of meat. Look,
I know.
Oh, I know.
Hillshire, Lunchable, the cheese.
It's like the difference between a spiral cut and Spam.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're better quality. They are a better quality product. It's just there's some of them that we've gotten because we get them and they sit for weeks. They don't taste so good after about 3 weeks of sitting in the refrigerator.
Well, neither do I.
You're not supposed to sit in the refrigerator, baby.
I was going to say he sits you in the refrigerator.
My point was nobody tastes better after 3 weeks in the fridge.
Honey, we're not supposed to share what I do with you in the fridge. This is not. You know, there are young people
I
listening
don't even know where to go.
who aren't married yet.
Because this is an alcohol show. There's young people, really.
Who aren't married yet.
Sorry, I had a fast run home where they had tornadoes, and so I'm like, well, hell, if I'm dying with a drink in my hand. So I ran home to get one.
I told him, I said, if you get the warning, you grab the whiskey and you take it with you downstairs. I said,
it was going full steam. I came in the complex and people were waving me down. Do you know there's a tornado? And I said, I'm just going home. And he's up here. And I think on the pallet, this whiskey, and it's just like going outside, right?
We had an understanding, and we told our viewers that.
Yeah, we told our viewers.
We cut it. If we go short, it's because
the clouds and the tree.
Yep.
You do understand that by the time you saw it over there, it was because you were in it, right?
If that tree
from there.
No. If that tree, you see how that tree is still right now, but if that tree, depending on the shaking on that tree, I almost once called it and said, I'm going.
Yeah.
Because of the shaking on that tree. And I actually have the bedroom set up to go hide.
Oh.
Or the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom's place.
You see, your honey already thought this out.
I'm so glad. I agree with you. You should go to the place with the giant glass panel doors.
Yeah.
You throw a towel over your head to protect yourself from that. Yeah. But really, the bathroom, I've heard the bathroom and the tub is the best place to protect yourself.
Really?
Both of our,
honestly, under the stairs is where you should go.
Both of our bathrooms have a skylight in them.
Mm.
That's the down part, but they're plastic skylights. They're not glass.
Yeah, and one of them's way, way high. You'd never get that high. I wouldn't.
No.
You might make it out. No, I think under the stairs is the place to go.
As long as you have a spot.
It's gone. It's moved on.
So long as you have your spot. Oh, good.
Yeah, and I don't ever think it really hit the ground. I think there was just a lot of rotation in the clouds, but we haven't had a lot of excitement here lately.
There's a difference between a warning, all right, and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting. I haven't ever heard this, but my office is just like a couple of miles from here, just straight down the road. And I got out of the office because I knew that they said there was a tornado. We were in a warning path. And now the sirens, they go off, but then they stop and a voice says, there is a tornado. Take cover immediately. And it's like blaring out of all of these. I've never heard that.
And the speaker rotates.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it goes around saying that. Yeah.
And I could see the wall coming, but
back in the 90s, I watched the movie Twister.
We watched it last night. How bad is that?
I love that movie. So, and I was in LA at the time because I grew up in LA. And it was like after that, it was like always looking at the sky and just like, this is and then being in Texas for 4 years. I was in El Paso, so as far west as you can be and still be in Texas. Yeah. And it was like, it was just some of those patterns of the way the clouds were, the way the sky looked. Yep. It was like, oh my goodness. And there were some smaller, nothing major, just the small twisters that did touch down in El Paso while I lived there. And I think one time in Downey, California, a twister came down in a shopping center. Yeah, it was a twister. It was like a thing. It was like weather warning. So that a twister came down in the parking lot of the mall or whatever it was.
And a whole lot of trash got picked up and some shopping carts.
So the last one that was really bad here in the Texas area, happened in 2019, like October 2019.
Really?
And it went across the stretch from I-35 all the way over to 75. All right, through a very, very rich section of North Dallas.
Yeah.
We live in far North Dallas,
Mhm.
which means we live north of 635. North Dallas is within the loop of 635, and it went across that stretch.
It hit more than just that, but it hit some
Wow.
very affluent areas.
We were in San Diego.
Yep.
And I was flying home when it happened.
Oh.
And I literally was in the air, and they said, like, well, there's been tornado warnings around the airport, but we'll keep you guys informed before we get close. And as we were coming in for landing, you could see a dark strip, and you could see
Ooh.
police lights. And that dark strip, the sad part was that dark strip, I had to go through it in order to get home.
Yep.
And I had to find a street to get through.
And it was dark because it took everything out.
It took
All
everything
lights,
out.
everything.
It took a Home Depot out and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was a real indicator of just how random those things are, because it went from some of the poorest housing in Dallas to some of the wealthier housing in Dallas, and within a 5-mile run.
Yeah.
It was very a transitional area. It was really wild. I mean, that's what they do.
I think in one stretch it took out $1 million apartment building and $1 million home.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the apartment building had 200 units.
So $1 million apartment building means that like each apartment's worth like $9,000. You know that.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's so random that it's somebody was saying it took this house, it took that house, it took that house, it didn't take mine. And it was like this whole psychological thing that it took the neighbor's house and it took the house across the street, but it didn't take yours.
As opposed to if you live in Oklahoma in a trailer park, it just like focuses on them.
There was a huge tornado in Wichita Falls back in the mid 70s. Killed close to 60 people. It was like a mile wide. It was a huge tornado. And I lived in the panhandle of Texas, which is about 200 miles away. And we did a mission trip there during the summer. And it was amazing. Like, we would literally, this house looked like it hadn't been touched. The houses on either side were leveled. But the house that looked like it hadn't been touched, back out there, they have a lot of gravel roofs and stuff. The oven was full of gravel, but the door was still closed. All of the cabinets were full of gravel.
It's like a wildfire in California.
Yeah, I mean, that happened in Oregon here in 2020. We had like the worst wildfire situation. There was 4 wildfires that were just coming together. And this one area, for the most part, it just devastated the whole, but there were still some buildings that were spared. But for the most part, 99% of the homes, the fire department, the city hall, everything was leveled.
That's even more random with the
in
fires.
the Detroit area.
Right. So
but it was just because they all came together at the same, it's like there was no way out. It was craziness.
Let's go back from natural disasters to personal disasters. What was your favorite drink tonight?
I just poured myself some
another pickleback.
Yes.
What about a pickleback?
A pickleback is tell her the pickleback so she knows.
Pickleback is a shot of Tullamore Dew.
Got that.
And a shot of pickle brine.
Got that, but not sure why. Tell me more.
Well,
because everything we did tonight is Irish cocktails. So, and it's funny because we discussed how many of the Irish cocktails we looked up and thought about doing, but like the idea was I didn't know what she does. She doesn't know what I do. We come live in the air and start sharing it. And the only thing that we had that we were worried about having in common was the mule. We were both going to do an Irish mule.
And
I'm going to try the pickleback. Pickleback.
You know what we're going to have to do? And we're going to have to do a mule. We're going to have to do a week of mules.
Ooh, yes.
Prepare to study because this guy makes
I know mules.
He is best.
Well, the thing is that this is an Irish mule. We can do just a regular mule because it all falls on the whiskey that you're using for that mule. That's where.
Wait a minute. You could have done the same recipe I did with the mule, but you could have put the Irish vodka into it.
Oh, yes. That is true.
Because
But
most typical mules are a vodka.
yeah. So
All
the
right. In this
first
case here, everything I did was with the Tullamore. I mixed everything with my Tullamore Dew whiskey from last week.
So usually when you add so the traditional mule is with vodka.
Yeah.
Normally when you put whiskey in it, it's usually a Kentucky whiskey. So it's a little different. It's a Kentucky mule because it's usually, for the most part, an American whiskey. In this case, it was an Irish mule because it had Irish
whiskey.
Yeah.
whiskey, but I do have Irish vodka.
I've got it.
Where was the Irish vodka made, by the way?
In Ireland, imported by Park Street Imports in Miami, Florida, but it actually was made in Ireland.
I feel like I've seen that at Total Wine.
We're gonna have to try that. All right. So that's a
and if you can find the gin, because I will tell you, Gwen, that what I had planned on doing was a Bennett cocktail and a French 75, which called for gin. Yeah. For whatever reason, I thought I had purchased the Menke gin, and I did not. I purchased the Menke vodka, which threw me completely off. Hence why I don't have my.
Nothing exploded. Everybody's alive. It's fine.
So instead of getting my Costco hot dog, I went home to get this and to get my this and to get my this.
I feel like I could come up with some pickle juice. I'm going to try that because I would never think of mixing those.
Well, the other one she talked about, we thought about doing too. Both of us looked at it and we come out and discussed it. We both surprised. We both looked at a lot of things that were the same. Was the Irish Boilermaker, but that's a down drink, and we don't really down our drinks on this show.
Right.
So,
I mean, I had been sipping on my pickleback, and he goes, "Okay, down it." Well, I was down to this much, whiskey.
I don't want to challenge anymore.
And then downing pickle juice that's no big deal. I had just filled it up. It was like no big deal. I can do pickle juice.
Anybody can do shots of pickle juice. Come on.
I was doing that as a kid. I'd do shots of pickle juice as a kid. Anytime there was leftover pickle juice, I kept it.
I do like pickles. Don't get me wrong.
It's good for cramps. So if your legs are cramping, two things that runners will do, they will either do mustard or pickle juice or both.
See, I just stretched. Oh my God, of course. It's the salt, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something in the mustard.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. So I've done races and I've done obstacle course races, mud runs where you're going over walls and crawling under the barbed wire.
Unless a bear was chasing me,
right? And you will find these little packets of mustard, because when those athletes or amateur athletes, if you will, they start to cramp, they will have the packet of mustard. They will have it, and within a couple of minutes, their cramps gone. There's something in mustard that helps with cramps.
So
Pickle juice is the same.
Never. Yeah. I used to run back in the day. I did a marathon. I did Half Moon Bay Marathon for my 50th birthday.
Birthday, she runs a marathon.
Yeah.
My 50th birthday, we went tasting wine.
Yeah, I know. Smart people go places. Dumb people run races.
Yeah. So anyway, so as we wrap up this week's podcast about drinking and tornadoes, apparently,
I will say au revoir, but thank you.
No, we love you joining. Thank you, Gwen.
Great time.
Yeah.
And not just because of the booze.
So my favorite this week is the mule, and I still think all of my favorites is still going with the hot dog, but that's probably because I put sauerkraut on my hot dog. And your Irish foods, it's you know what I mean. Sauerkraut's going to go with your Irish, your German, type foods. So, I really like that. The old fashioned was very, very, very good. It was really sweet with the Tullamore Dew. All right, but let's face it, the foundation of everything I did was the good whiskey, which we had last week. And we'll give a shout out to it again this week, because even last week we talked about it. It was a great whiskey. All right. And I just did research to find drinks that would go with the whiskey. Now, half the drinks that I actually looked up, the recipe called for Jameson's, which we talked about. It's the Irish whiskey. Everybody knows.
Right.
We decided to step away. Again, we don't do the popular on this show. All right. I understand how popular some of them. That popular vodka that you got in the beginning, the very first show we did with Tito's, and I'm like, yeah, everybody does Tito's. Oh wow,
And then you tasted Crater Lake, and you went, boom.
So I'm explaining to the guy at the whiskey bar that I stopped at over the weekend about our podcast and our show here, and sharing with him. He runs a bar in Houston, Texas. All right, called Reserve 101. So shout out to you guys. It was a great spending time with you guys this weekend. All right. And I'm telling them about things that we tasted because I said, what's your bourbons? And we went through their bourbons and stuff like that. And, they had some great, good Texas bourbons, but most of them they had that were good were Kentucky type bourbons. The restaurant that Gwen and I went to dinner at was called McCormick and Schmidt's. And they actually had the Hayden.
Yeah.
Hazel Hayden.
Hazel Hayden. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Actually the second time I went there, I had a different bourbon, but I did with where they put the smoke onto it, cherry, a smoked cherry. Oh my God, it was so good. Anyway, if
you can ever get that Hazel Hayden dark rye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had that at the Reserve.
If you ever get back there, have the dark basil.
Oh, I'll get the dark rye around here, I'm sure. But that whiskey bar I went to had it. I remember I looked at their menu for exactly everything they had. So first thing I walked in, I went, dude, just make me I want a really good old fashioned. And I watched him make it. It was very good.
Yeah, there's this little town called Camas, Washington. I was there to see a client. And since I was in the area, I didn't want to deal with traffic coming back. And they did the whole smoke thing. It was amazing. It was so cool. I don't know if they're still open. I'm going to have to go check it out because I haven't been there in 3 years. So I'm going to have to go back, see if they're still there, because that old fashioned with the whole smoking of everything made it a special drink.
That smoke infusion, that might be something we try sometime on the show, but I'm going to have to learn that. All right. But that's the second or third time that I've had it.
The other thing we can do is we go to a bar that does it and they make it
record a podcast if they'll let us.
Oh, I think they will. If you tell them, hey, you're going to be online, we're going to be
just tell us where you're listening from, and we'll actually, the more people who listen and tell us where they're from, the more subscribers we get, the more places will do us favors. Just saying. Can we beg you guys to go get us subscribers? I don't know.
Yes. YouTube. That's where we
subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not by now.
Lady G and Mr. T.
Here's a quick link to get you there, by the way.
It's timothy.com/Lady G and Mr. T YouTube.
I might just go in and make Lady G and Mr. T.com go to YouTube for the time being. Well, I think there's a way I can do it and make it go to YouTube for a while so we can get our subscribers up.
I've been telling people, but we need to get to 100. Y'all help us get there.
Yeah.
Y'all helped us get on Facebook to where we need it to be. Now we need you on YouTube. And whenever I talk to anybody, I have them like us on Facebook, but then to subscribe on YouTube. So I've been my Women Who Whiskey. You have been following, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Now we got to get Bourbon Nation on board, and who else can we get on board to help us get there so that we can start promoting some of the things that you want us to feature on the show.
Like when Tim does his moonshine and barbecue.
Right.
I know that's one. All right. So that's when we prep. I don't know when, guys. We haven't done a prep show, but in May. So May we're doing kind of Mexican type stuff. All right, in honor of oh gosh, what's the holiday in May?
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
That is not celebrated in Mexico, but yet in the U.S. it is. Therefore, we will bring homage to mezcals and tequilas and Mexican beer and margaritas and whatever else we can think of that is Mexican related. That will be May.
Yeah, see, May gives us a lot of material. Just like March. March gave us a lot of material.
Right. Thank you, Irish.
Yeah. So,
or thank you, Ireland, I should say, for
thank you,
being
Ireland, for giving us something.
Irish things.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we wrap this week up, all right. I forget what we're going to do next week. We'll talk about it because I don't have my folders up here. I have not everything back to the office since coming back home last night.
Right. Yeah. Next week was kind of not yet as broken down specifically what we're going to do next week. We will have
a surprise.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple of weeks. Either we're not going to be on, or I will not be with you because I will be down for a couple of weeks at least in April. Mm-hmm. So we will be discussing how we're going to
tell you guys the schedule next week. So
yeah, we'll keep you posted.
All right. So in the meantime, guys, all right, drink safely, drink responsibly. All right. But more importantly, I'm going to say, guys, learn what we've done with this show is to enjoy what food pairings go with what drinks. All right. It's one of the reasons we like doing the show is it's not about just the drinks, but it is about some of the stuff we taste it with. It makes the world.
I know.
I don't have mine up here. It fell off the desk. Anyway, I ate my hot dogs, both of them.
Oh my goodness. I might have to go to Costco and pick up a hot dog for tonight because, man, that looked delicious. But enjoy your
dog, or even like I said, a brat. Even a brat with this goes very well.
Yes. It's about the food. Oh my goodness. You got to love your food. You got to like the way you drink because if you don't like it, why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it? Yep. So anyway, I'm Tim Gillette, Mr. T. All right. And my business is Simple Easy Marketing. I help people with their online marketing, build a plan. All right. Get results, get customers. All right. All from doing content creation. My co-host is
Gladys Beltwell with Insurance by Design, taking care of small employers with less than 50 employees with their employee benefits so they can attract and retain quality staff in the states of Oregon, Washington, and California. Primarily, I do other states, but hey, I'm licensed, so it's very particular.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Hey, guys, we both we'll be back next week with another broadcast. In the meantime, guys, drink safe, drive safe. All right, and enjoy the way you drink.